Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly English shooting live stream. If this is your first time, this is not what to expect for future live streams. For those who are regular viewers and watchers of the channel, you're going to know that this isn't the usual place, as we are currently up in Solihull, up near Birmingham, for the British shooting show at the NEC. So it's a little bit of an ad hoc live stream. Haven't really got a lot planned, but I do have some special guests if they care to join me later on in the show. I think they're sorting out dinner. We literally arrived here, God, like less than an hour ago, so quickly chucked everything together and thought I'd do some sort of a stream. So yeah, I hope you all had a fantastic past week, and I hope as many of you as possible are going to be able to make it to the show this weekend, as we're going to be pretty much there for the whole weekend. That's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, as always, if there's any questions or topics you want to bring up during the stream, please do so. I think more than any other week, I'd appreciate it, because no time to look at topics or talking points for tonight. So we will just see how it goes. Maybe this will be a little bit more of a relaxed, chill one, and Connors will be happy because I'm repping the Pepsi Max. It's the go-to on the road drink. But regardless, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed for future videos and future content. Magload hat white, employees only. I think special employees. There's only one person amongst the Magload team that currently has a white cap, and that would be moi. But a number of people have asked if it is going to be available. So we will be looking at doing that shortly if people do want it. I will warn you, it is an absolute nightmare to keep clean, but it does look absolutely fresh when it is clean. In terms of stuff that I've been up to over the past week, let's see if I can remember. And for those of you that didn't join us in the last stream, I am using new software, so we will we will see how this goes. Let me bring up which one is it going to be? They're all called the same. Oh, it gives me a little preview. That's very handy. So big talk within the UK shoot. We will be talking about the show in a little bit, but I thought I'd get it started off with a bit of gun and something that I've been wanting to shoot for quite a while, and that is the Korth revolvers. So these are available from Cotswold Classic Arms. I really didn't do this thing justice, if I'm going to be completely honest. If I zoom, does it follow the zoom? Does it? Yes, it does. That's absolutely brilliant. Still learning. So for those of you that aren't aware, and maybe a more experienced revolver would like to come and give his opinion of the Korth. No, he's too. Yes, I did just assume his division. It is the correct assumption. He does like a good wheel gun. So yes, the Korth revolvers. So we've talked about these on the channel before. I think first and foremost, we've been talking about this a lot recently, the elevation of the shooting industry. Okay, you look at game and you look at clay, going and spending 10, 20, 30,000 pounds on a gun is sort of nothing. Like you look at a Beretta DT10, DT11, you can easily go north of 10K without even trying. But what we are seeing more and more here within the UK is the practical element of everything, which is obviously where I'm more focused on, getting bigger and better, and the bar being set higher and higher. And this is very much part of it. So for those of you that aren't aware, the Korth revolvers are a UK legal long-barreled revolver. So you can get them in 9mm, 357, and also 44 Magnum. Now, no, I am not a, let's say, proficient revolver shooter. I'm very much familiar with pistols, but this thing is without a doubt the top end of what you're likely to see here now in the UK. The price is the main talking point, though. You're looking anywhere in the region of sort of, I think they start here about £4.5 and go right up to about £6,000. But Korth are very low number production revolvers. They're like all hand finished, hand tuned, and are proper race revolvers. So the fact that we're seeing the market stomach this increase between sort of I'll pause it there, seeing this stomach the market. Let's see if I can, there we go, switch back there, is great. It's raising the ceiling. It's showing that the market is expanding. We talk about it with the 2.2 semi-automatic rifles, where a few years ago people wouldn't even dream of spending more than about 1,500 quid on a rifle, and now we're seeing people spending £3,000-4,000. And long-barreled revolvers, long-barreled pistols, the thought of going and spending multiple £1,000s on an LBR or an LBP just was insanity to some people. And now we're seeing a £6,000 LBR on the market. We're seeing most LBPs coming at the market at least 1,500 quid, like the KMR, that you can spec that up easily from Shield. It's from 1,800 to 2,000 pound, and there are other big names wanting to bring in more selection of LBPs and LBRs as well. In terms of my initial thoughts of the Korth, well, again, I'm not really that qualified to talk about revolver shooting. It is a noticeable improvement in quality over the likes of the Chiappa Rhino LBR or even the older Tauruses, which aren't available anymore. Everything feels tighter, more precise. So you can feel that it's more quality. For me, looking at it, I mean, I couldn't even justify personally what is it, like £1,100-1,400 for a Chiappa Rhino. The thought of me going and spending £6,000 on an LBR does sort of blow my mind. Going and spending 3,000-4,000 on a battle arms or a real high-end, high-spec mini rifle, yeah, because I'm trying to go in and competing at the top level in that, so I can see it. But I can certainly appreciate the craftsmanship there, the quality, and they're struggling to keep them in stock. So I think that's more about the supply and the demand. Even if the demand for a £6,000 LBR isn't massive, the fact that they're coming in such low numbers, because Korth actually limits the amount of production that they do, they're all being snapped up. So I think that's fantastic to see the shooting industry, and certainly the practical area of this industry, just set bigger and higher heights. But yeah, so that's a little bit of what I got up to. The bigger story of where I was. Let's bring you. How do I? Do I turn that off? No, stop. There we go. I will get au fait with this. It's only the second time really using the software. So the reason that I got the chance to shoot that Korth is because I was very kindly, well, myself and also Connors from Magload, very kindly invited up to the Double Juice firing range for their open day. So we did this last year. There was meant to be a video that went out of for last year's, but I'm sure people are aware of the difficulties that the range has had over the previous 12 months. I'll touch on a little bit about that, but I know it's still ongoing, so I won't go full into detail. But yeah, a fantastic day, a fantastic range. You guys all know my support for ranges like this. You can literally walk off of the street and within 10-15 minutes have a qualified range crew passing you a gun in a safe, controlled environment, and you're pulling triggers, which is fantastic. That's what gets people shooting. That's what gets people into this sport. So this is basically actually not too far away from where we're staying tonight, in the Midlands or Birmingham area. So you can check out their website if you want to learn more, if you want to go and try it. But yeah, they have a shop as well. So we were set up as Magload. So Connors and I were up there, sort of showing off our wares. We have the likes of Otto from Cotswold Classic Arms, again with the Korth, which is how I managed to sneak off to a range and get to shoot it. And there are a number of other people as well. Of course, we've got a number of guns to show, the two battle arms. We've got the standard configuration, which is the lightweight, and then we've got the Ambi sort of open division gun that was on there, and we had a few other Pews available. RÜDE was represented there, and there was also some custom ear impressions being taken. And something that a lot of people noticed, again, we've talked about this from the Magload Open Day, because I think that was the first time it was really shown out on in the wild, is a UK legal SA80. Now, this isn't a conversion. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, this has been done before." It has. People have been able to get hold of the 22 cadets, which are Section 1 to begin with, and therefore can be, if you can get them off of the MOD, can then be sold onto a firearm certificate. Well, Otto at Cotswold Classic Arms, he is building these from the ground up. So there will be a continuous supply. It won't be about getting hold of a 22 cadet. It won't be about getting hold of these parts. And I know there's been various discussions about some SA80s do they have Section 5 components in them? Well, no, this is from the ground up sort of, yeah, it's designed on the SA80, but it's all new parts. And I believe he's doing both a 223 straight pull version, which this one is, but also a 2.2 semi-auto version. It's not necessarily a gun that I'm jumping up and down like I'm going to have to get, mainly because I struggle to tell the difference between bullpups and non-bullpup guns, as some of you will be aware from my previous faux pas. But it is an iconic gun. It's an iconically British military, and you always like the forbidden fruit. These things are incredibly rare to get hold of here within the UK in the civilian market. So I know, no doubt, that these are going to be incredibly popular. So to see this out on display again and getting a lot of interest was great. Great to see. What else was there? Let's flick through. I think that was the last picture. Yeah, now we're back to my mug. So let's get rid of that. And then there was another gun that was it's actually a club gun. So the Double Juice. Hello, you're interrupting.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. You're perfectly You're stream.
Oh, do I have to decide dinner live on stream?
Yeah, you do. So you get
should I let stream decide?
No, it'll take too long. They might be.
Oh, Magload, we're ordering food. I missed that.
No, I know you did.
Yeah. So I'll bring this up. I'm literally across the room. You could have interrupted.
That's what I've done.
Yeah, we're here interrupting.
So say we could have done what we're doing.
It says it on the screen now. We're ordering food.
We're ordering food. So yeah, stand by. We said this was going to be Didn't we always say we were going to do like a mukbang?
I do not know what that is.
I mean, Paul's going to be upset that he's not involved.
Paul would beat us all as well. He might look skinny, but he can put down some food. Right, what are we?
So
what is the option?
Connors and I have chosen one of these boxes which has loads of options. I'm just going to give you a quickie.
Okay. So sorry guys. This is the
Don't say sorry.
The show life.
When we
this is important.
So you get a choice of
but then the
starters.
food's going to arrive.
So you're going to have egg fried rice and vegetable noodles. I know you will.
You've got a touch screen. That's bougie.
It's not a MacBook.
It's not an.
It's not.
So you like your chicken. So you get.
So what is it? What is the
this
box?
This is a box of what you can see.
Is it like a noodle box?
It's a noodle box. He's having a noodle box.
What are the vegetable? Why have you selected vegetable noodles?
What do you want instead? Udon noodles?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got
vegetable noodles are just regular.
You have to have one of your 5 a day.
I just don't like the idea of vegetables.
Udon noodles are thick Japanese noodles.
So are the vegetable noodles like the thin ones?
The regular ones.
All right, I'll go for vegetable noodles.
Yes.
If there's veg in it, I'm not going to be happy.
Well, you are.
But why are there two? Why do you get egg fried rice?
We haven't worked it out.
So this is the big box, Callum.
Oh God.
So you want a small regular box?
Right. No. Did I say I wanted a small box?
You were complaining about 2 starters. So you get a choice of 2. So you get a saucy main and a dry main.
And it's all about the saucy main.
I know. I don't know why it's called dry main.
Dry main. I thought it was a chow mein.
Funny enough, chow mein's not on the menu.
It's sharp when he's on stream.
I can be. I have to reserve it all for.
Hopefully, he's sharp enough to get this order through. Sauce chicken, sweet and sour chicken, Manchurian.
I think sweet and sour chicken.
Sweet and sour chicken.
Chicken. Do they have crispy shredded beef?
They do not.
They have crispy chicken.
I've gone for the crispy chicken.
Beef is not on the menu.
Salt and pepper. I'm gonna go for.
Beef. No, there's no beef.
There's no biff.
Oh, there's biff. There's stir-fry biff. There's Szechuan stir-fry biff.
Yeah, Szechuan. That's
There's Szechuan.
spicy.
There's Szechuan.
Szechuan.
You want Szechuan? It's not
No,
as spicy as
no,
you think
I want
it is.
salt and pepper chicken, please.
Oh, boring. Yeah, okay, cool. So just to double check for the streams.
Yep.
So oodles Chinese, vegetarian noodles, egg fried rice, sweet and sour chicken with salt and pepper chicken.
Yes, yes, please.
We'll split you some wings.
Oh no, I took the wings off.
Okay.
Do you want
What?
wings?
No wings.
Well, it's chicken wok wings. It's that wings.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he's got wings. That's it. That's enough food for me.
Like, why wouldn't I get wings? That is more than enough.
Because Red Bull.
You
doesn't
didn't get
sponsor us.
wings from sides earlier.
I didn't because they were disappointing yesterday. Yeah.
Can you
Have I actually like pheasant curry? People have
show it, show it.
who was pheasant noodles sounds closer. Yes, grouse peas. Oh god, you're all foodies, aren't
terrible. Sorry.
you? But those, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a while, but I'm sure some of you will will remember this bearded guy. Come on.
I'm going to swap places with you.
Well, no, because I was about to introduce you.
Well, they know who I am.
You do know this looks like the casting couch, right?
No, it's wrong color.
It's the what? It hasn't got that white stain on it.
No, it's black and it's leather.
Well, we do things differently here in English shooting.
Well, let's be soft.
The trouble is, this one stains more.
No,
It
that's not a
does.
trouble.
It's come
It has
pre-stained.
history, Connors.
Um,
You're sleeping on the couch tonight, by the way.
I know.
I don't
I'm
like-
going to be waiting for both
I
of you.
don't like it. See, you look
What?
like you're taller than me.
No.
Oh, I don't like that. Put it down.
Anyway, so let's
I'm ordering.
Right, we're
Order.
ordering food.
So I was going to introduce Arian because Arian.
Hi.
Hello.
Should I put this on
Is
my
it?
PayPal?
No,
No,
put
we're-
it on my card.
This is company expense.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travel.
Ooh, it's black.
That you
It's
just
not,
the
it's
food.
blue, and
Just the
let's not-
food.
And let's not go there.
Lighting mistake. Lighting mistake.
Let's not go there.
Anyway,
I'll be back.
love
Where's my
streams
blanket?
gone old school all of a sudden. Yes. Well, why does it get all debauchery and silly when Connors turns up? There's definitely I've been doing it pretty professionally for the last I don't know year or so. You three putting the shooting in English shooting. Potentially rabbit ravioli. That sounds like a good dish. Could they do like sweet and sour rabbit ravioli? That would be brilliant. You're about to be in for a massive shock. Don't know what you're talking about. So my attempted introduction.
Close this door because this stream's boring as all shit.
Yeah, that's nothing really changes, does it? So anyway, back to where we were. My dinner will. What Connors doesn't realise is that you can actually see him in the mirror poke up. Scary thought. Anyway, back to where we were. I will be going through the comments as much as I can, but I don't have my usual setup, so I'm not seeing things as well. So in addition to the SA80 and the Korth, which was a gun that obviously I got to shoot for the first time, there was another gun that I've been wanting to tick off the list as well, which I was able to shoot at the Double Juice Open Day. So this is one of their club guns. So just like with Phoenix up in Barnsley, if you've seen that range tour video, go and check it out if you haven't, because it's a fantastic range. I will be doing a full video of Double Juice as well. So they are pay and play ranges. You can roll off the street and start shooting. And if you want to continue, then they have home office approved clubs, so they can introduce people and then provide the facility to get people shooting more regularly and on their way to getting their firearm certificate. So Double Juice actually has a number of separate ranges within the building, and they have a dedicated club range. And this is where I was able to go and sneak off and try these guns. But yeah, one that I've been wanting to tick off for a very long time is going to be the Southern Gun Company's 9mm underlever, or underlever 9mm, or whatever they call it. So this is, well, we've talked a lot about lever releases and Marses on this channel, and it was the lever release that effectively gave birth to this gun. When I say the lever release, it was the banning of the lever release and also the Mars under the Offensive Weapons Act. And fair play to Southern Gun Company, this was their creation. So previously, the lever releases didn't look too dissimilar, ignoring the under lever. Yes, it is under the gun, but it's not like actually like under. It's more of a side motion that you give it. But previously, the way that lever releases would work is that you would fire around, the bolt would come back, the bolt would lock, you would flick a lever on the other side with your thumb that would allow the bolt to go forward. You could pull the trigger and start the cycle again. So it wasn't semi-auto. So semi-auto center fire rifles here within the UK are Section 5, or they're not prohibited. They're prohibited for like sport and sort of general ownership. But the lever releases sort of gave a little bit of a halfway house. But the Home Office and the police and various different agencies really didn't like them because they had what they deemed to be a too high a rate of fire. So they ended up getting banned along with the Mars action rifles. But in terms of genius sort of marketing and making a good situation out of a bad one, Southern Gun Company knew that all of these lever release owners would have a lot of compensation money burning a hole in their pocket. They're going to lose a gun, be given some compensation money, and they're going to be looking for another gun to spend it on. So they came out with the underlever 9mm. It is built on sort of an AR platform, and it gave another option to those wanting something like a lever release. So yeah, you can see if we look through the video again. No, that's from Wiki. Let's play this again. So you can see it's Glock mags, standard Glock mags, although these were, I think they were like the 30 rounders, and you can see it operates just like any other lever release. So you pull the trigger, rack the round, or rack the lever, and it cycles. So I've wanted to try this for a very, very long time, and it was great to be able to tick it off because it's a little bit innovative. It's something a little bit new. I know with SHOT Show just gone, there's so many American companies that come up with something very similar on this, but we've seen it yet again that with British innovation, something maybe ahead of the curve of the Americans. The Brits do like to lead, the Americans do like to follow, don't they? Overall, like initial impression, I'm hoping video out of the footage that I've managed to get from that shooting session, or I will maybe ask very nicely Double Juice to go back up there, have a bit more time and get more footage with it and do a full review. But it was very odd. Anybody that's shot a traditional lever gun, it's a fairly long throw, and you get a lot of leverage on it. With this, the movement was incredibly short, and it felt very unnatural compared to what I was used to with like a 357 under lever or 44 or 38, and it was just a different action, a different motion that you had to do. I think getting used to it, a little bit of practice and refinement. I did find that stock, the underlever was the lever was a little bit sharp, and also you did have the danger, if you didn't hold it correctly, that you could end up getting your hand pinched between the lever and the grip, which if you're going full whack wasn't very comfortable, very pleasant. But overall, I love the sort of ethos of it. Fair play for Southern Gun Company. Almost had pretty much the whole like business destroyed by the Offensive Weapons Bill. And again, those guns have never been used in crime. The lever release has never been used in crime. The Mars has never been used in crime. And yet a whole business could effectively been shut overnight because of it. But for them to not give up and to get on that innovation train and bring out something like that. And I know it's not particularly a new gun anymore. It's been around for a good few years now. That was the first time that I managed to get my hands on it. And do I have a guest standing by? Come on down.
I've never been on here before. This is the first time you've seen me. I don't know why I'm using that accent. Sorry.
You technically have been. Because we did the
have
test, didn't we?
many. No, it was actually many moons ago. I was also on the live stream.
Yes, you have
many
joined on the
moons
live
ago.
stream. Yes, I was actually going through the old videos the other day, and I did see that one pop up. So yes, and it's for any longer term viewers. This is Aryan. I have been talking. Well, you do usually join the live streams in text form. You usually pop up
in text form. I have now got the ability to be inside your head on these live streams now that you've adopted a lovely service.
I thought that was going to be later. Anyway,
oh, crap. I'm way ahead of schedule. I'm really sorry.
Connor's is getting rowdy. So we
Chinese.
She hasn't got his Chinese.
He hasn't had his Chinese.
Does he get randier once he's had Chinese?
Well, you talk about your leverage, and he talks about his Chinese.
So when he was saying about being full up, he wasn't talking about food. We're in danger. Anyway, back onto a more sensible line. So I did say either last week or a couple of weeks ago. So Aryan has very kindly sort of come on board with EnglishShooting, mainly because I find it very difficult to find time to actually create the videos. No, creation is not so much the issue; it's the editing. You
find difficult to find time to put time aside to put time in for your videos.
Time. So so Aryan has come on to help film. So you're coming down regularly. So any of the videos that you've seen with the all white background and the black table, that's all been filmed down
by the all brown guy.
By the old, yeah, I can't. There's certain topics I can't get onto.
I'm sorry. My comment is dark.
You could get away with it. You could get away with it. I'm being watched under the magnifying glass. Anything that could be considered untoward. But anyway, we so you've been coming down to the unit. We've been doing filming. So that's the Magload unit.
Yeah.
Been filming videos and we've been very kindly editing them.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of the comments. People have definitely noticed a step up.
I'm very thankful for those comments, by the way. If it weren't for those comments, I would have left very quickly. No, I'm kidding. No, I would have stayed. But it's really nice to see those comments because obviously the one thing that motivates anyone to make videos is seeing that people appreciate them. So thank you so much. Please give me more comments saying, did Aryan edit this? And hopefully it was the ones I edited and not the ones that Callum edited. Otherwise it's embarrassing for me to go, no, it wasn't me.
It's noticeable. Like you've talked about this quite a bit. You have a different style. Like obviously I have an input into the video.
Yeah, you still do your match videos. Those are your
I'm still doing the match videos.
Your babies, which is a good thing to be honest.
But I do enjoy doing them. They're a lot of work, but I enjoy making them. I do have a couple actually in the edit that I need to get out there. But you've got a different style, but also a different approach. And I think the quality and the output of the videos are superb. And it's all the little extras. It's little pop-ups and the ATFs and the
you're gonna have to give more context than just the ATFs because that might go a bit wrong.
Go and watch some of the old it's the belt
there
video.
May be a certain meme around regarding the ATF.
It's not
we're
really
in the UK, so
yeah, it's not really
work for us.
It's not that applicable, but
yeah, you've reviewed an American gun company's belts, and obviously
cool,
they
which
talk about the ATF. Please don't it's too bright.
that's what they all say.
So yeah, you can check out those videos.
Yeah, I am wearing that core belt that you see in that video. So I'm wearing the tactical one this evening.
He does take his belt off and almost loses his trousers. So if you're that kind of person, you know where to find it.
Quick access. So yeah, go and watch the core video if you want to know what we're talking about there. But there's loads of different things that you've been adding into the video, which I think is really stepping it up. So it's not down to me. That's all down to Aryan. So you need to give him a big thanks in the videos.
Need to, but I'd like it.
So yeah, if there's any questions, so well maybe we give a little bit of like an actual formal introduction, more in depth introduction.
You want to interview me on EnglishShooting?
Well, yeah, like so. Obviously,
so it might be worth starting with what am I actually in English?
What are you?
What
are you?
Yeah,
well, that could be a very long
because I have a press badge that says otherwise on many things.
But just give a bit for anybody that's joined since the start. So we're up here. The reason it's not the typical backdrop, typical location is we're up here near the NEC in Birmingham because it's the 2023 British Shooting Show, which is starts tomorrow, runs Saturday, runs Sunday. So Aryan's come up to help film, but also you regularly attend all the shows as well.
I have actually, yeah. it's interesting because my involvement really depends on who I represent. I used to be a journalist in the airsoft industry many moons ago.
And that was the Airsoft Milsim blog.
Yeah, which funny enough, so it's interesting because back in 2014, I think, I actually sent you an email a long time ago. This was our first ever connection between you and I. And I never got that email back. I thought, oh, he's not interested. He's a big YouTuber.
No,
That's Alex.
long story.
So that was the first communication. Then,
Yep.
God, many years later, I decided, hey, I've not played airsoft or done anything with the airsoft industry in a while, and I got into shooting action air. So that was my entry into practical shooting. And I thought, oh, okay. And this is me writing. So you'd never have seen me on a video unless it was something I was forced to do.
But you had made videos prior to
I
that.
started making video. Well, okay, so I made videos as an extra on top of my writing to complement the website that I was working for. We wanted to bolster our YouTube, and I was getting to film, so that's when I started. I became very technical. I started looking at different ways of filming, basically news-related stuff, and that's where IDWA came in. I did all the filming for that. I started doing that for British Shooting Show a bit, but it was out of my depth because I was coming from the airsoft industry and I was looking at all these firearms, all these shotguns. I was like, I don't know anyone, or I don't know how I could even talk technically about any of this stuff.
Don't worry, I still feel the same way.
That's fine. I'm
sure most people will understand that I just give something to Connors and go tell them what I should say. Or he tells me and then I just pass it off as my own anyway.
So what I did was I decided that I was going to start a new company and use that to get myself into journalizing firearms industry, which didn't last very long because I felt with the S of the Milson News blog, we were a team of at least 3 people, and we fluctuated. We had like 10 people at one point. We had 4 people. We had 6 people. I was consistent with it, and we won a few awards within the industry. And I thought, I want to get into the firearms industry. This is where I'm at. I'm practical shooting now, and I want to get into stuff like, well, you may have seen a precision rifle video in the past with me in it, or me actually presenting it in some way. So I wanted to get back into it, and I started Outdoor Technica, which a few of you may have heard of or seen a few videos of. You don't have to share it.
I'll bring it.
Fine, I'll keep talking whilst he does that.
Outdoor.
So I used that as my avenue to start firearms industry stuff, which went okay, but it felt more like a lone wolfy thing, and I made the company look very... Well, I made it look like there was a team behind it, and there really wasn't. It was mainly just me. After a while, I started to feel the pressure of deciding what I wanted to do with regards to the fact that I jumped from one industry to the other, and I wanted to be part of a team again. Lo and behold, 3-4 months ago.
I don't know if it was, well, if it was that long ago, that sort of that's flown. Why am I full screen? Oh no, what have I done?
It's okay.
There we go. No, it's a drag. What a drag.
You want to drag?
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So if it was 3 months ago, that's like absolutely flown. But I think it was before Christmas. Yeah, which was a few months ago. Where is the time going? I think I just sort of reached out. I mean, we were already. Oh, that's it. You were helping with Magload as well. Black Friday. So Black Friday is an incredibly busy time for us at Magload. And because we do our Black Friday sales, and I don't think anybody really beats us on what we do. And it was like, it's really important for us. So I sort of reached out to Aryan and said, like, look, would you be willing to help us with this? And because if you can do sort of like the media creation for us, so like the Facebook posts and the sort of the animations that you made, then that frees me up to do other stuff, so I can focus on the email campaign and on all of this. And that went really well. And then I was like, well, if you're sort of looking for more stuff,
so I wanted to. Yeah, sorry, I'm butting in, but I wanted to join a team again. I kind of missed the whole S of the News blogs ability to be part of a team, because we went as a cohort to these shows, and we put effort together to create videos and create content, and we reviewed stuff together, even though part of the team was in Germany. We had team members in Slovenia. We were actually quite a European team, and I was actually the only one in the UK, and dealing with the UK law was interesting, even for the airsoft industry, funny enough. So yeah, there was that
good
element.
Old VCRA Act.
But one thing I also started doing with Outdoor Technica, so I wasn't just doing news, I was also creating, so I'm a software engineer by day and I'm a digital developer by night, which means that I create websites, I do marketing, I do film when I can, and I do the film side is a little bit amateur at the moment, but writing, website creation, stuff like that is very much me. So I started offering that to small businesses, and I focused on the firearms industry because like I want to help firearms industry. So this sounds like a call out to say that I do that, but I'm just saying as it is, that's what Outdoor Technica does now.
Well,
and I don't do the news anymore with Outdoor Technica because I decided to join English Shooting and focus on the passion of film. Really.
Well, there's sort of a lot of overlap, but as always, well, what sort of happened with English Shooting and what I've done with other projects as well is that you sort of start making videos as a hobby, and then you become, you know, in a specialist, or say a specialist in sort of niche industry like the shooting industry, and then people, you know, video creation is usually very expensive, and also trying to find somebody that understands the industry can be quite difficult. So if you are making videos that people like, then usually businesses just naturally sort of come to you and be like, can you make a video for us? And then before you know it, you're not just doing videos for yourself, you're doing it for other people. So I guess that was that sort of natural progression, but also I think your progression through not just with content as well has been driven with your journey through practical.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Yeah, it's based on my desires and my hobbies in regards to what I do in my free time. And
I think a prime example again, so I usually use Paul as the example for this. So Paul Wyborn, who also works at Magload, is Action Air. The positives of not just Action Air, but also Airsoft. So, you know, a lot of people that have, they started sort of directly in the firearms industry. You know, their parents shot, or, you know, they started at school and they've always shot live guns. There can be this little bit of snobbery when they look at your airsoft, be that mil-sim, be that, you know, skirmishing, stuff like that. And also within the practical, there's, you know, people, I've heard it said, you know, with like Action Air, you go, oh, it's not real guns, or, you know, you're just playing with toys. I was like, well, there's not many toys out there that cost £2,000-3,000 to have a play with. So I'm a big supporter of Action Air, and also any form of safe, lawful shooting, be that with BB guns, airsoft guns, because it gets people pulling triggers. And again, I think, you know, that's how Paul sort of came through to where he is now, and where you've come through, is that, you know, airsoft is more accessible. It's easier to get into. I was going to say cheaper, but I've been proven
it depends.
Wrong on that many times.
So you know how you can get a Stoga for about 300 quid?
Yeah.
So airsoft is getting more expensive these days. There are still products and toys out there that you can start with those cheap, but I think it goes with the culture. So originally things were much cheaper because people didn't spend much. They saw it as a hobby. They reenacted. They spent more on clothing than anything else. But that's it. Airsoft, in my opinion, is reenactment where you're basically cosplaying. And the fun addition to that is you're using toy guns to shoot at each other with. And you have that simulation of being part of something that you wouldn't normally be a part of.
Yeah, you don't usually get the opportunity to go out there and point guns at people.
It feels very, very weird these days. It's like,
yes,
I went to an airsoft game a month or two ago, and oh my god, it took me 10 minutes to realize what I was actually doing was okay.
I've experienced that with paintball as well. You know, finger off the trigger, and I'm pointing it down, and it's like go, and you're like, I don't.
but there's no targets.
It's like, but everyone's downrange. Like, why would I lift the gun up? Why is everybody downrange?
Yeah.
So yeah, you sort of came through the mil-sim, that's the airsoft route, into Action Air, which is more of a structured.
It's a sport.
Yes.
So a lot of airsofters would say that airsoft is a sport, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm quite technical, and I find that the generalization of airsoft is more of a hobby than a sport, because the quantifiable idea of who wins is not there unless you apply it to this hobby. But Action Air is quantifiable based on the rules, based on the fact it's an emulation of handgun. It has structure.
Well, I would go like, yeah,
you go on further. Or
I would go further. So I think that, you know, mini rifle was created because we couldn't have centerfire full bore rifles here within the UK, and Action Air my understanding was created because out in the Far East, their gun laws are arguably even stricter than ours, and obviously it caught on here within the UK because it's very hard for us to have live fire handguns or traditional handguns. So yes, it was something to fill a gap that had otherwise never been available or had been taken away. But they are their own disciplines now.
It's
yes, not with their own rule sets.
It is
with their own nuances. They're not just a direct copy. Mini rifle, which is Action Air's had its first world shoot. It should have already had its second. Mini rifle still hasn't had its first world shoot yet. So they're still quite young disciplines. But Action Air is actually more progressed and older, and you are seeing that separation. Yes, it's still handgun. Yes, it's still in essence trying to replace live fire handgun shooting that we can't do here in the UK. But it's very quickly you've got your own specific target sets. There are specific rules like stop plates. You don't get stop plates in anything
that
else.
Is quite. Is it new? If it was back in 2017, maybe. My understanding of the history of Action Air is quite vague after about 2006. But yeah, it is quite old considering mini rifle.
Yeah.
And if you think about Hong Kong, which is where a lot of Action Air has been popular to the point where you have clubs that practice it daily, it made sense for it to be the first world shoot at Hong Kong, which I was quite lucky to attend.
Well, which is why we should have the mini rifle world shoot here.
It makes sense.
It's going to be in Czech Republic, but
but that includes PCC, includes
which we can't have
together to make that more difficult for us.
But the ultimate for me in terms of my focus, like at the end of the day, I've always said, as long as people are out there pulling triggers and it's safe and it's lawful, I don't care what they're using and what they're pointing out, as long as it's safe and lawful. But ultimately, I want more certificate holders. I want UK very specific centric, more certificate holders, more firearms owners, and I want to see the overall industry to grow at let's say unfairly the top level in terms of live firearms ownership, licensed or certificated firearms ownership. And what we are seeing time and time again are people find it easier to get into airsoft, find it easier to get into IPSC through the Action Air route, but then like yourself, like Paul and many others are then trying mini rifle, and you're going to be at the European Handgun Championships later on this year, fingers crossed. Well, we don't know yet. Still, the places haven't been allocated, but you've certainly put your name into contention as of myself, as of Paul. So it's you're now going to the really the top level of live fire shooting, having come through from airsoft. So those that like to write off paintball and airsoft and Action Air, it's just like air guns. You talk to everybody who now has certificates, and like 99% of them started with an air gun, right? To me, like whether it's an airsoft gun or it's an air gun, it's a gateway. It gets people into the sport, which is what we need, and we need to encourage.
It's interesting because I have experienced people coming in through the gateway that is Action Air, and I call it gateway because it truly is when you think about accessibility. But I also have seen quite a lot of people start to come in since COVID. So we've had this little block of people staying at home through games. And
yes,
I'd normally say that, okay, people play Time Crisis, stuff like that. You can't do it at home because it's normally more of an arcade thing and they're quite old games. But there was a friend of mine, there is a friend of mine who created the VR practical shooting games using the Oculus. Yes.
Yeah.
And because of the accessibility of that, all you needed was a VR headset. You didn't even need, because back in the day with VR, you needed a gaming PC that could do 4K and all sorts.
That's why I didn't have a VR.
That's
VR.
Why. Yeah.
Why I didn't have any VR for a very long time is because it's like I really want that. The first time I tried the Oculus, a couple of my colleagues who happened to be, I was a hardware engineer, they were software engineers.
Don't want to know your opinion about software engineers
because they already had really high spec gaming PCs. So I was like, how much is this Oculus? It's like 800 quid. I'm going, I could stomach that, yeah, like for how cool this is. And they were like, yeah, but what computer do you have? And I'm like, I've got a Mac. Right. So you're gonna have to build a gaming PC, right? How much is it gonna cost me to spec the gaming PC that is gonna run this Oculus? And they were like, about £3,500. I was like, yeah, that 8 plus the 800 quid. So I'm
that
like,
was back in 2017.
yeah,
So a lot has changed since then.
it has, but that's why I have the, what do I have?
Doesn't even remember.
What?
Is it an Apple device?
No, it's not. What VR do we have?
We've got the Quest 2.
It's the Oculus Quest 2, which was like £250,
And it's standalone.
standalone, no computer. I'm like 250 quid, amazing. And
now you can play a VR practical shooting game, which has only
you say play, you train.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It has safety rules such as breaking your 180 degree.
Yes.
And certain other aspects such as actually dealing with the commands, the range commands, stuff like that. It's very much a learning aid on top of the fact that it's a training aid and on top of the fact that it's a game. So I've seen quite a few people come in going, oh, I want to shoot this properly. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, that's good. There's the association. You can look into that. And there's Action Air, which you can more actively get into straight away because it's accessible.
Yeah. And it's out there. It's reaching more new people. As we're seeing, we've referred to it before as the Call of Duty generation.
Yeah.
Well, again,
it's weird because obviously there's the connotation of people who play Call of Duty being the very much mainstream, but it's not about something we need to get what they're doing. Of our heads.
Yeah, it's not about what they're doing with the guns in those games.
Yeah,
it's actually installing firearm enthusiasm or enthusiasm for the firearms.
No, I agree.
And I've seen this at shows. We've seen it at the British Shooting Show when we've attended, talking to younger kids there, at the Northern Shooting Show, at the Target Shooting Show, and they will come up. When we've been at the Target Shooting Show and Northern Shooting Show as Magload, and we've had guns up on the display, and we've had kids come up to like the Benelli M2 and go, "Oh my god, this is the Benelli M2! Like this is in this game." And we're going,
I see this in John Wick.
Yeah,
I've seen this in The Expendables. Right. I've seen this in God knows what.
They know the guns, and not only that, they're like, oh yeah, I've got it configured with this and that, and oh, this is an AR-15. Like I've got a Trijicon MRO on this, and they know it's not just the gun itself, but they know like the history of it. They know about all the accessories, what's compatible, how they would configure it optimally. Okay, for purposes that are debatable, but it installs that enthusiasm into firearms, which then, if you can capture and nurture and direct, you go, well, actually, yeah, okay, not for the purposes that you're using them in Call of Duty, but if you want to come and do some practical shooting, you do want to go do some clay shooting, you can do that, or target shotgun, like with the NRA, you can do that with a Benelli M2. So actually come out of the virtual world, you go through these processes, join a club, and
find the sport within the firearms. So it's transitioning from entertainment and gaming to, I could actually apply skill base to a sport that quantifies my abilities and allows you to have fun with firearms in a very different perspective, which is great because it's also separates you from the thought factor of Call of Duty to something completely different, but relational based on the one thing, which is the knowledge base and the interest in firearms, which I think is great.
So I've got somebody asking about the VR. So I'm going to bring it up and show you guys. So this is something that I have wanted. Maybe this is something that we can work on next time you're down, because I still haven't done a video on this training app. So I will be. I have to add that to the list, and we have to do a talk of it. Maybe it's something because it's more techie, and obviously
I'm
Aaron
more than
quite
happy to go through that process.
You could do that, but I'll bring it up. So the company is called Blobworks. So I'm going to share the screen now. So this is their Facebook page. It's Blobworks, and it's through the Oculus store. So if I go here, is it going to? Yes, it is. It's going to follow me over. So only allow essential cookies.
You're very security conscious.
So you are going to need a VR headset, but you can get, the Meta Quest 2 is 400 quid, but they've gone up a little bit. It used to be, I think it was £300. Yeah, because it was 250 quid x that. But yeah, 400 quid gets you up and running, plus the 15 quid, and it's the VR practical shooting DVC. Oh, you can actually see a little bit of a video. I'll just check that this is actually sharing that screen. No, it's not. You're all watching this. Let's share this. So this is a little bit of an introduction.
Got a nice 1911 there,
and it feels very like realistic. The sort of haptics of the gun, well, not haptics of the gun, but the mechanism.
Application of the controls has its limitations, but I think Blobworks has done a really good job at simulating certain effects. Like what you just saw there was just tapping the controller at the bottom was a reload, which is as far as you can get with it.
But it gets you into the habit of, the range commands, the process of IPSC shooting. And if you've got a big enough space, you can actually run stages. But also the mechanics of the gun, like reloading, like chambering around. And it's not 100% all-encompassing training aid. And I think there are potentially, if you let it, as long as you're aware of it, you could let yourself develop bad habits because of this. But as long as you're aware of those, you can focus on the areas that you can benefit from the most.
It's an aid, not a replacement. So
yes.
So there's three things I think this game applies for training. One of them is understanding the basics of practical, and that is the movement, the dynamicness, and the requirements for you to be able to shoot a stage well, which is speed and accuracy. The second bit, I'd say, is understanding the safety behind shooting practical, and it's very universal. It's
is he going to show it? You can. There are actually mag load accessories in the game.
Yes, I noticed that a while ago.
We were so chuffed when he asked if we could do it. Like, absolutely, we could. There we go.
Yeah,
you can actually mag load up
a 1522.
It's brilliant. But yeah, it gives you that understanding of that practice and that routine.
And then once you've got all that experience, the next best thing is stage planning. That's the one big thing you get here, because you don't need to set up your barricades. You don't need to make sure you have a backstop. You don't have to buy yourself an airsoft gun and make sure you're in a place where you can clean up afterwards and not damage stuff. Everything is VR. So even if you don't have the space, you have the capability of using whatever space you do have to at least plan the stage and look at the stage based on the perspective you get through VR. So it's very useful for that at an advanced level. So it doesn't mean that it becomes useless once you understand the basics of practical shooting. You can go that one step further, create your stages, which you've seen quite a few people do. Ben Ducker did that.
Yes. Well, what he actually did is you can do it either just to play around with.
Yeah.
But what he was doing is when a competition, so with a sanctioned like level 3 match, they usually release the stage diagrams.
Yeah.
Now it's never 100% like for like in terms of like what it says on paper to how it is when you turn up on the day, but it gives you a rough idea, and there's certain elements that right, I'm gonna have to practice this, or they're gonna have me start from here, so I'm gonna have to practice grabbing there. So Ben was going through and actually as close as he could to the diagram, building the stage and running it through.
Yeah.
But then also what we've done as well, and what Paul was doing, is that after a competition, you go, that stage didn't go quite well for me.
You start thinking about alternate stage plans.
Actually, if I tried this, would that be faster? So you build the stage as it was on the day, because you've been there, you've seen it, you've shot it, so you can really recreate it.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the chance to then try it, because you only, in a practical shooting competition, you get one shot at it. And there may be 3 or 4 different ways to shoot it.
A good stage will have at least 3 ways of doing it. A bad stage would be there's only one way of doing it.
Yes.
The idea is to have the freedom of shooting it the way you want, or the way you find best, and being able to apply that to be the best at that stage. So it's not about being the quickest or being the most accurate. It should also include your ability to plan that stage to the best of your skill base, whether that's shooting far distance or being able to get up to a target really quickly. Well, there's more to it than that as well. There's footwork. There's a lot of other stuff.
You very quickly find out that there's loads of different elements that all require quite a lot of focus into to really bring them all up to be an all-rounded shooter.
Yes.
I am speed. No, just speed. Speed wins. If you go fast enough, it doesn't matter about your accuracy. That's top pro advice right there.
I can do a stage in 1 second and get 0 points. I still get 0 points.
Well, you got to get some points.
No, you get 0 points.
You got to get some points.
Gratification of doing something quick isn't
No,
points.
as long as it looks good on camera.
But if the camera only got a second, it's not worth it.
That's what she said. Anyway,
Unless it records at 240 FPS.
240. Then you can
More on that later.
No, then you can stretch that out.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
Which is what she said as well. Anyway, moving on.
Who told you could stretch that out?
You're setting yourself up here.
I don't care. I need to know more.
Your mother. Anyway, there was only going to be one answer to that.
Well, that's terrible. It's a terrible stage design. Poor. Very poor.
Your mother is a terrible stage design.
You using my mother was a terrible.
No, I think I like your mother is a terrible stage design.
Is that a new cast?
Here we go.
New match etiquette is when you want to diss someone or psych someone, instead of saying, "Oh, that looks hard to do," is like your mother is a bad stage design.
Yeah, your mum was a bad stage design, and I managed to get into double digits on the hit factor.
But that means you were quick.
Efficient.
I don't know how we've turned this into a.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. You're worse. You are worse than Connor's. Into turning this into debauchery. Debauchery. Yes. Was there anything else that I was going to? Any?
Well,
news?
It's worth noting that we plan to do our best to get as much news as possible
yes,
out of British Shooting Show.
That is the main title I've gone for the stream. So again, a quick reminder: we're up here. While it's not the usual stream you would expect, it's because we're up here in an Airbnb in Birmingham, living the high life. That YouTube money. Oh God, it pays for all sorts.
You can feel it in the sofa.
I can feel it. We might feel it even more in the sofa later. We will see. But yeah, so we're up here for the British Shooting Show. And I'm saying there's 3 shows that for me I absolutely have to go to each year: the British Shooting Show, the Northern Shooting Show, and the Target Shooting Show. I'm not 100% sure if the Target Shooting Show is going on this year. Hopefully it is, because again, it's
a good show for practical,
brilliant show,
at the very least.
But the British Shooting Show, obviously, we're early in the year. It's the first real big event of the year for the shooting industry, and it's great for enthusiasts, for firearms owners and shooters, because you can go and look at all of the stuff that's recently been, most of the stuff that's recently been exhibited at SHOT Show. There's a lot of trickle into the British Shooting Show, and you get hands-on with it for the first time.
That's true.
But also it really gets your mind right, like the year ahead, right? The year's started. We're back into the new year. Let's get our mindset on what we're going to be doing. Whether you're a clay shooter, a game shooter, a rough shooter, a practical shooter, target shooter, rough shooter.
Rough shooter?
You know what a rough shooter
I
is?
have no idea what a rough shooter is.
Rough shooter's like a pigeon shooter out in the field.
Oh, so a field shooter.
Or like, crows. Yeah, like field shooter, but like rough shooting's another name is what I've come to.
Okay.
No, it's hide, like pigeon hides.
Yeah, no,
because you're hiding in the rough.
Yeah. Okay. No, I get it.
So yeah, rough shooting. All sorts of shooting. So obviously there's that element as obviously enthusiasts going and seeing that and seeing other people as well. I did see earlier, I don't know if he's still with us, but Neil from Rack and Load, I believe he is there tomorrow, so we might try and hunt him down. It's been a while since we've seen.
Might create some memes with him.
You just saying that Rack and Load's a meme?
No, I said we'd create some memes with him. I said we'd create some memes with him.
All right.
Roll back the tape.
Or no, that will be you later when you're editing it.
Love you, Neil. Please don't hit me.
So yes, you get to meet people, hang out with people like Neil from Rack and Load, but also because obviously we're in the firearms industry. Certainly, my pretty much sole wage and Connor's sole wage. This depends on it. It's a great networking event, and it's like a big trade show. So we get to see all of the big wholesalers and all of the movers and shakers within the industry.
So much to look forward to for IWA. I really can't wait.
I was going to lead on to that.
Sorry,
so it's arguably there always does seem to be this competition between the British Shooting Show and the Northern Shooting Show, and they both say that they're the biggest. In terms of square footage, the Northern Shooting Show wins hands down because it's an entire showground. In terms of actual stand space, I don't know. The British might have it because it's an NEC hall.
Should we get one of those stepometers and start?
Oh, we should have bought the
entire...
laser measure. Connor's got one, wall to wall.
Connor, do you have the laser measure?
No, it's in his drawer.
Oh, disappointing.
It's your fault.
It's your laser measure.
Then you stop.
Shh.
We'll do it by eye. We'll do it by eye.
You couldn't even read Hitachi on the TV earlier. How the fuck are you going to do it by eye?
I will take a picture and put it on social media and see if. Oh wait, no, because a picture with
But
Facebook
I can
compression.
anyway. I can't spell and I can read.
I can read it from here. Actually, I think it's literally a few feet difference.
Well, you were like a foot that. Anyway, I digress.
Matter.
But the British Shooting Show is a very big show. There's a lot of people there in terms of footfall, and it's great. We were talking about this, I think, last week. I think they've taken on a lot of feedback from last year. Loads of people were not happy about like paying for parking. Well, parking's free this year. There was a lot of rumors as well that they weren't being very, let's say, liberal with the like press passes and getting people in to sort of cover the show and share the show. Well, we're all there on press passes, so, and they're embracing all different types of media, written media, digital media, and they have always strived to go bigger and better. Yes, the last couple of years has been difficult for the entire entertainment industry, shooting industry as a whole. And, you know, I think, as we've said, there was a little bit of recuperation from last year, but I think they've taken that, and every year the British Shooting Show, since I've went the first time, God, in like 2014, you know, it's just got bigger and better and bigger and better. Yes, it is very much themed more towards shotgun, more towards game and clay, but we do see names like Firing Solutions there, which is very practical. I think Guncraft is going to be there as well, which does the 22 WMRs. I know Caliber Innovations were almost there last year, but they certainly were planning to be. So we are seeing a slight growth in that sort of practical element. But anyway, so we like going as individuals. We sort of feel like we have to go in terms of being as part of the shooting industry, and it also kicks off this year. But yeah, it's going to be a nice little warm up for IWA.
That's very true. I'm glad you said warm up, because I am going to have to test your limits in regards to how much content we get out. Because when it comes to IWA, it is about speed. Funny enough, it is about impact marketing. Speed. So hopefully we'll see some really good British Shooting Show clips on Instagram, YouTube. It's your choice, really. I'm only going to feed you the content. You'll do what you want with it. But with IWA, it's going to be pretty intense. And I want you to enjoy IWA as opposed to having to deal with the work behind it, because it is. You're talking about British Shooting Show, Northern Shooting Show being big. You've not been to SHOT Show yet. I haven't been to SHOT Show yet, by the way. But IWA is 16 large halls.
When you say large halls, put the size of the
Northern Shooting Show halls that you see.
No, go British Shooting Show.
Okay,
that's what I've got
British
in my head.
Shooting Show hall. That is a single hall in IWA.
And there's how many?
16.
Jesus.
So Sig Sauer and Walther took up an entire hall. And there were little pockets of stalls.
Or just like half a...
Together. Umarex, which is... So the reason I know about Umarex is they have Armex and they have like the H&K brand and stuff for all their air guns and stuff. They took up half the hall, which was amazing because a lot of that space was walkway with replicas and firearms and air guns either side of it. But they had HK in a corner, which was quite amusing, with half their space, which was weird because it was HK. And then little stalls like Double Alpha and so around that hall. And that was just the one hall. And obviously you have outdoors, you have hiking, you have firearms, you have crossbows and archery, you have airsoft, which takes up half a hall. It used to take up a whole hall. But you also have a lot of like software solutions for outdoor stuff, vehicles, Toyota.
Like there's police and military stuff there as well.
So we're going to IWA. Before IWA, there's Enforce TAC. Mm-hmm. And Enforce TAC just recently became open to press. It is military, But there is overlap because you see military and IWA as well. It's just more commercially available for private use or domestic use and stuff like that. But yeah, there is such a huge amalgamation of outdoorsness. It is called outdoor classics.
Yes.
So that gives you the vagueness of what
so it's all like outdoor pursuit, outdoor sports. So there are going to be, out of those 16 halls, it's not like it is going to be 16 halls with just guns.
6 of them will be guns.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of walking space.
But it's over how many days?
3. We're
3 days.
taking
So
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, aren't we?
See, we've always said that we could probably cover the British shooting show in a day. We've always said that. Like,
if we're good with it,
yeah,
and we're not stuck in meetings, because the other thing is for IWA,
you get talking, and
we will hopefully
do
a few meetings.
Yes,
at the very least,
but also like new products and talking to the, I want to see the Magpul case.
I'm going to be really happy if they're not there.
I want to see that leg of their new block case. But we've said that we could, if we really like, foot to the floor, we could come up to the British Shooting Show, do some filming, go and see everybody. It feel rush, and we'd need to really maximize the full day. We could do it in a day, but we don't like doing that. So we want the opportunity to stop and talk to people and take it in and enjoy it and not feel like it's an absolute free-for-all. But let's just say you can do the British Shooting Show in one day, and that's just one hall. And you're saying that we effectively, or you've got 16 halls, but there's going to be like 6 halls that we're going to need to get through in 3 days. So it's going to be 6 British shooting shows.
It's going to be fun
in 3 days. So you're
going to have to be selective.
It's going to be intense.
You are going to have to be selective, and we will probably have to book meetings where we get opportunities to just have their time and film what we need to, and then get out of there, because it's that kind of thing. With SHOT Show, I've not been, so this is third party, but you get a bit more room. It's funny because there's, just like as you said with British Shooting Show, Northern Shooting Show, there is who's the biggest. We have the same with SHOT Show and IWA. Statistically, I think IWA is bigger because SHOT Show is about firearms. IWA is about everything outdoors related, which includes hiking, we include climbing.
I will want to go and try and walk through those halls and get a real feel for the
I think it's
show.
worth filming the experience of the show and showing what it encompasses, but then we can go into the nitty-gritty of what interests us, because that's going to be the most important for us.
And it's going to be difficult for me as well, because there's going to be
you're just going to be ogling everything.
Well, it's like the HK,
and I'll be like, come on, Callum.
I think this is what I said a couple of weeks ago on stream. So the main reason we're going out there, yes, we're going to try and get content, but the main reason is that Maglo's going to be out there. So we're going to be on the I Wholesale stand. We're going to be representing the company, and it's hopefully going to open some doors to various people that we wouldn't have the opportunity to do. But also the other element of it is, obviously going out there, filming, creating content, and there's going to be stands there and companies there that aren't going to be at a British Shooting Show, a Northern Shooting Show, like Glock, like Sig Sauer, like HK. And
well, if you're talking practical, Double Alpha, Safariland, Yeti. Okay, I'm talking about cases. Yeti's UK based. I know. Yeah, that.
Yeti's Northern Shooting Show, but as well.
They will also be a thingy, and they'll be their competitors, such as.
The thing is, I'm gonna have to like sort of count off all the ones that come to the British Shooting Show and Northern Shooting Show, because I can get those at the Northern Shooting Show or the British Shooting Show, but it will be the likes of Double Alpha. It's gonna, but it has to be structured. It can't just be me running around the hall going, "Oh my god!" Like,
so that's Friday, and I'm going to film him doing that. I think Friday, what we should do is the morning, we should just have you experience it, and we'll film you experience it in a vlog-like manner, and that gives me an opportunity to encompass the entire. Because Friday's going to be busy. There's going to be loads of people. It's going to be a good way to show how busy IWA gets. Saturday will be just as busy. Sunday will dumb down a little, but it's still going to be busy. So Friday will give you an idea of, here's a map of the land. Then you can have lunch to kind of relax a bit and enjoy. It might sneak you into the press area, which would be quite nice.
Or just hold the gimbals and be like, I'm not carrying around these for fun.
Honestly, it might be so difficult that they're like, ID now. Give me ID or you're not coming in.
Like, do you not know who I am?
It's just for food. That's the thing. The only thing that press area gives you is food and the ability to put stuff away. But yeah, you might not get in unless I just give you my. It's like, yes, my name is so and so.
Well, we're both wearing like English shooting tags.
The
but
exact same
yeah,
card.
I am really looking forward to it. It's like IWA has been a bucket list for me. Yes, like SHOT Show is the one. If I could choose to go to one, it would be SHOT Show. That
because you can shoot. There's the range day.
There's the range day, and it's also in Vegas. That does like Germany, Las Vegas, like
Nuremberg.
Well, Nuremberg, yes. Well, I've not been to Nuremberg, but if you say to somebody you want to go to Nevada, USA, Nevada, Las Vegas, or you want to go to Germany, Nuremberg, I think most people are going to choose the Las Vegas. But it is on the bucket list. I want to go there. Just a personal like ambition, just to go to SHOT Show and see it. But it's also been the same for IWA. I got very watchy very quickly.
Very quickly.
So yeah, IWA, yeah, it's still been on the bucket list. Like I hear so many people talk about it and go on about it, and I want to experience it myself. And hopefully, with the help of Aryan, we're going to create as much content as possible, whilst obviously maintaining the main reason why we're out there, which is going to be for Maglo. Just a couple of comments. So Philip Monty shoots. Funny enough, we actually met at the British Shooting Show last year, so it'd be good to see you there if we bump in.
Also in an Airbnb.
Also in an Airbnb. That seems to be very popular. A lot cheaper than the hotels. I mean, the YouTube money, it's not that good. So yeah, it'd be good to see you there, Philip, and catch up. What else? I did see another comment that people were talking about. Oh, somebody was saying, how great is the Great British Shooting Show? Is it because it's in Great Britain, or because it is it's a great show? Well, I'm trying to find that comment. I can't find. Where did you delete it? Did you remove it? Oh, now is the great in GBSS referring to the show being great, or just Great Britain? I believe it's a little bit of a play on words. It is factually because it's Great Britain, but obviously they use that for their marketing because it's the Great British Shooting Show. And there's been a lot of debate over the years. It used to be in Stoneleigh, which is sort of a very sort of countryside. It is a showground. I think it's like an auction house for cattle as well. It's very sort of countryside.
Oh, Northern.
No. This is Stoneleigh. So this is where the British
yeah.
Shooting Show used to be, and it did feel like you were out in like the cattle sheds. And that sounds bad, but it's
an authentic experience in a way.
That's a very good way to put it. Yes, and there was a lot of uproar when it came to the NEC, because they were like, the NEC is just bland, it's generic, it's stale, it's but it was part of the growth of the show. And again, how we kicked off this stream talking about the Korths, and now that there's a £5,000-6,000 LBR on the market, the sport and the industry is growing. And the British Shooting Show was outgrowing Stoneleigh, and for it to be able to sort of stretch its legs and stretch its wings, it needed a bigger space. And also, it is a big international show. Yes, not like IWA, but there's people that come from all over the world to come to the Great British Shooting Show, and big names in industry. So it needs the transport networks, and it needs that accessibility, and also the expansion. And not forgetting that pre-COVID, literally right before COVID, they managed to use an adjacent hall to run the Airsoft Surgeon Action Air match.
Yes, no, that's right. Yes, I unfortunately was injured during that match, but yeah, we set up and had a level 3 regional IPSC Action Air competition.
Level 1.
Level 1.
It was level 1 because
we wanted it to be level 3. It was a level 1 to give accessibility.
It was a level 3.
In spirit.
In spirit.
The professionality and the stage. I may have to go get our noodles Chinese.
Well, if our food's going to be here, I'll probably wrap up in a sec.
I'll be back.
Yeah, so I've forgotten where we go. But yeah, the British Shooting Show is worth a visit. Like 100% again, because it sort of kicks off the year. So and Philip confirming, yes we did. He did sort of hunt us down. Usually when people come up to me at shows and go, "You're Callum," that can go one of two ways. I don't know whether to run or embrace. Daniel, thanks for joining, Mr. Supermod. Paul is really he's letting the side down. I haven't seen Junior, Minor, mod on here for for a little while. Do you, Daniel? Do you feel a little bit jealous? You know, Aryan, Connors, and I reunited, and there seems to be one missing from that quadro. Although I will sleep sound knowing that a big bear won't burst into my room and scare me this evening. Yes. If you don't know that story, you probably don't want to know that story. But it does look like our food's here, and I don't particularly fancy indulging in the food on stream. That's for the OnlyFans, ES OnlyFans. If you want to see that, if you want to support the channel, then you can join. But yeah, so I'm probably going to wrap it up there a little early for a stream, but this hasn't been a particularly standard stream. If you're about at the British Shooting Show, we're going to be there the full Friday. We're going to be there the full of Sunday. Saturday is a bit of a half and half. We're going and doing some filming with the Ladies Development Project under the UK PSA over at Worcester Norton. So we want to promote that and help the ladies sort of grow that initiative and project. So we're going to be disappearing Saturday morning, but we're hoping to get back into the show Saturday afternoon. So yeah, full day Friday, full day Saturday, Sunday. If you see either myself, Connors, or Aryan about and you want to say hi, please do. We don't bite, and it's always great to meet people from the channel and say hello and get any feedback as well about the channel on what we get up to, any video ideas you may have. So please do stop us. Please do say hello. And I do usually try to carry around some patches and other swag with me. So depends how early you get me, if I've still got some. But yeah, make sure that you like the stream. Again, apologies if this isn't of your usual taste. It's not the usual sort of stream. Usual service will be restored next week. But yeah, dinner awaits. We'll see how this dinner goes. But there we go, guys. Hopefully I'll be able to see lots of you at the show either tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday at the Great British Shooting Show at the NEC. But I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Make sure you like, make sure you are subscribed. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for joining